It doesn't have to be the same as how you wanted to live life 10 years ago. So let's tweak those things and reverse engineer that back. Whereas so many people go the other way and go, well, what financial numbers do we need to hit that then allows us to live life?
Today, I'm talking with Sarah Cooke, holistic business coach and self-leadership mentor who starts every single client conversation the same way, not with goals or revenue targets, but with one simple question. How do you want to live? So why don't we just start off with you tell me a little bit about yourself and what your business is and what you do and maybe how you got started with it.
Sure. So I guess kind of coming at it from both sides of health business as well as kind of an athlete. So it's real from the kind of the healthy side. And then, yeah, I've scaled a number of businesses into being able to now support other women growing their businesses and kind of moving into that sort of self-leadership space as things evolve, as things change, as the world changes, and as women as we hold it all. So yeah, it's kind of fused from my experience as I mentioned, as an athlete, as a holistic therapist, positive psychology coach, and really loving business, but also recognizing that people come into business because they have a real passion for something, but don't necessarily have the business background behind it. And I spent sort of 15 years working in corporate, in marketing and sales, and that's really helped me give a grounding on both sides of kind of running a business in a way that feels good for me, and then being able to then support other people being able to grow their businesses in a way that aligns to their strengths, but also their passions, and living life in the way that they want to as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I love all of that. And how true that so many people go into this with a passion for something. And I think it's true worldwide, but definitely here in the States, we promote this American dream. You can do whatever you want, but we really don't equip people for what it is to run a business and teaching them how to do it. It's just have a passion and whoof, there's a whole nother side.
Yeah, exactly.
Be aware of. Right.
Yeah, there is some work involved as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm good either way you want to take this. If you want to talk about your clients and what you're seeing with your clients, or if you want to talk about your business in particular and how you're running your business. But in terms of daily operations, what do you see as the most significant hurdles that you're facing in running a practice, running smoothly today? And again, like I said, whether that's you or your clients, I'm good either way.
Yeah, there's probably two main things that are probably slightly interlinked. I think there's a lot of my clients, including myself, as a business owner, you're holding all the hats, you're wearing everything, you are trying to do all the things. And I think there's that real squeeze when you first set up into growing, and then when you go into scaling, that actually you need different things and different support. And as the leader of that business, you also need to be doing things in a different way. And I think that can sometimes cause a little bit of internal friction of going, well, I've always done it this way. So what happens if I do it differently? And that can feel a little bit scary. But coupled with that, I also see people that have grown their businesses and are now, I think, especially more recently, where they are juggling everything and they've got a mask up sort of in front of themselves that they're holding a position, but actually behind the scenes, as they're getting older, especially as us women and life changes and all that kind of thing. And potentially we need to run businesses in slightly different ways that honors us as women and our different cycles. And also if you're parents and you've got young kids or kids of any age, you've got parents who potentially need you in a slightly different way as well. And I think there's a lot of that I'm seeing going on as well, that yes, we get to have the flexibility of running our own business, but it's kind of the stuff behind the scenes that everyone's trying to hold up above water and making sure that they're not going to fall between the cracks themselves.
Yeah, how true. I've been very aware recently as we've launched our two kids. We went from parenting our kids to parenting our parents. And I thought I was going to have a little bit more time in there.
And suddenly it happens and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you're right. Juggling all of those balls. And some of them you just can't predict what those balls are going to be in life in general, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think for me, that's where I sort of support my clients, is actually having that sustainability around their business and making sure they've got the financial side coming in, that if they do need to take time out, or if they choose to take time out because you get to have holidays, right, that your business can still sustain that and you've got the money coming in and you are financially safe as well as everything else.
Yeah, that word sustainability I have heard that. It's been a very common theme in a lot of the interviews that I've been doing recently. So it's very interesting. Every time it comes up, I'm like, there's that word again. Yeah. I think I love it. It's a great focus because it's kind of what we do. And I just think the world needs more sustainability, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So let's flip that around. I started off with hurdles. What are some of the things that are exciting for you in business right now or your clients and that are going well?
Because the world is shifting constantly, I think there's a real opportunity for things that we might not even realize when we first started our businesses. And I think as part of all these shifts and changes that I am seeing, these curveballs, you can easily view those as negatives. But actually, the clients that I love to work with kind of lean in and go, well, how do we get to do things differently? What feels good for us? And that sort of, I call it elevate and evolve. And which are the things that you want to elevate? Which are the things that are working that you want to really strengthen and enhance? And then which are the things that maybe feel a bit sticky that you want to evolve, you get to change? And as business owners, we get to do that. And that feels good. There's a lot of things we obviously can't control in the world at the moment, but there are the things that we can control. And I think as business owners, we have that real pleasure and privilege to be able to keep the fun going if we can. And I think, sometimes I think you forget that it's our own business and you get to do things in a way that feels really good for you. And I come at it from a sort of life first business perspective of going, how do you want to live life? It doesn't have to be the same as how you wanted to live life 10 years ago. So let's tweak those things and reverse engineer that back. Whereas so many people go the other way and go, well, what financial numbers do we need to hit that then allows us to live life? And I'm like, well, how do you know the numbers that you want to hit until you know the life that you want to live?
For sure. I totally agree with that. Are there specific trends in the health and wellness industry that you're seeing having a significant impact on like those things that people get to pick and choose? Where do you elevate and evolve? And where do you just say, like, that's a trend I don't really want anything to do with? So are there specific trends that you're having that conversation around on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think we can't have this conversation without kind of talking about AI and ChatGPT, I guess. It's probably been one of the biggest shifts that we've seen in recent times. And I think people are utilizing that for self-diagnosis and different spaces that way and trying to get help and support through chat or whatever models people are using, which can be great. But I think there's also recognition that the human touch is so important. And actually, as health and wellness business owners, as our own health and wellness leaders ourselves, we get to tune into that. We get to take that and utilize the bits that are good, but also go, well, actually, maybe the human touch is still really relevant. I'm seeing a lot of my clients are wanting to do more in-person things or connection online if they've got more of an online business. I think it's that real human touch, that real human connection that people are really craving again, almost kind of mirroring post-COVID where people were just desperate to speak to and see people. They're definitely feeling that again. So
Yeah. How fast that is happening too, right? Like post-COVID was really only 4 or 5 years ago. And
yeah,
we're like
absolutely.
right back, like how fast we kind of forgot what that was.
Yeah.
And now we're going right back to it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So this is called Behind the Numbers. I do want to get a little bit into the finances of it. What are some of the biggest financial challenges that you're currently facing? We're seeing your clients facing running their businesses.
I think talking about in-person things, that's actually a real challenge for people because people are craving the in-person, but actually running in-person events, retreats, whatever that looks like, is very expensive at the moment. There's not only kind of cost of venues and all the rest of it, but that's definitely increased. And I've noticed a massive increase from myself owning or kind of running retreats and in-person events. And we use that as an opportunity and go, well, how do we get to do this differently? Are there different ways that we could do this? And maybe there's an element of choice that we give to our clients rather than doing an all-inclusive. It's maybe, okay, well, this is the venue. Here are some options as to where you stay. What does that feel like for you? And I think also not assuming people will spend where they choose to spend. And I think as business owners, as marketeers, which we all have to be, it's creating that real tangible value for our clients rather than seeing it as a cost. So it's about real investment, real transformation for people. And also acknowledging that our own costs have gone up on everything as well. As I say, it's an invitation and opportunity to go, well, how do we get to do things differently?
I love that offering choice. And I always remind myself and clients, like it is up to the client to put value on something, right? It is up to your client not to put value on something. It is not up to me. I have to make sure my costs are covered and that I'm pricing appropriately for my business. But in the end, the value comes from you, the person who's paying for that. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's sometimes amazing and astonishing to me what people will pay money for, they value that. That's amazing that they're able to do that.
Yeah.
So as you look to the future, what are some of the biggest goals for growth and development that you have or that your clients are talking about being excited about? And what challenges are coming up for them as they think about achieving those goals?
I'm seeing a real big shift in the conversations that I'm having around being able to hold it all. and the capacity to be able to do that, what energy that looks like, how we get to shift our working patterns, a real sense of kind of self-leadership as business owners, not to the extent of putting boundaries up on everything, but actually I think just that realignment. I think we're taught from a very young age, aren't we, that if you work harder, you will get results. And I think as business owners, we can never switch off, but also we have that flexibility and we have that freedom to choose, which has its ups and downs and has its positives and negatives as well, I think. But I think it's tuning into that real self, like what do you want as a person? How do you want to live? And that allows you to then make those decisions. What you've always done doesn't necessarily have to be what you go and do, go through and forward. And that invitation to evolve and tweak and change and almost not do what you feel like you should be doing, but really do the things that feel aligned to you. And for me, that's what health is. It's not just the physical health and mental health, and it's aligning to your values, it's aligning to your strengths, it's the real nourishment of yourself. So not just you get the best out of what you're doing, but your clients get the best results. Your family gets the best out of you. You get to live the life that you want to live. And yeah, I think with so much noise going on externally, it can be very easy to just absorb all of that and get carried away with that. So really tuning into what you need to perform at your best, whatever that looks like. It's not being an Olympic standard, for example, but it's about you performing in the best way possible. But again, that comes with challenges because everyone has an opinion about what other people should be doing or how they should be doing it. And I think it's really tuning into what feels good for you.
To me, and I'm seeing this with myself and for some of our clients as well. And even like I said, the theme earlier of the sustainability and like really kind of paring down, right? Like I feel the long goals have been about like, let's go bigger and go better and all the things. And I think people are finally like, no, like maybe my goal is to pare down and really get deep and focused on what's really important, those values. And again, what's sustainable long-term, because you're absolutely right. Like your clients aren't getting the best of you if you're spread so thin, and this is not good for anybody. And then we wonder why our business doesn't feel great and why it's not growing the way we want it to. Like, because you're going in 100 different directions at 100 miles an hour. Just pare down and slow down.
Yeah. And I think most business owners tend to be high achievers. And that can be a real challenge as well as a personality trait, because you're always on the go. You always want more. You're always doing things. And that's the shortest way to burnout, right? The other part of high performance is having the self-awareness and the real self-leadership piece of going, when do I need to perform? And I'll show up for that. But actually, the other side of high performance is the rest, the nourishment, all the things that we do behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, Sarah, this was great. I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else that you feel like is on your mind that you want to share with our group today?
I think it's more just that if things are feeling tricky, just utilize that as an invitation to explore what could be done differently. And I say that knowing that it's easier said than done when you feel like it's against you and hard to see the woods from the tree. But I think that's the power of coaching. That's the power of getting an external perspective. And that's why I love what I do, because I can see the top down and delve right into the nitty gritty of it all as well. So yeah, I think that comes with lived experience as well as working with lots of different clients, which is so powerful as well.
Yeah, I can't echo that enough. Having that outside perspective of somebody that can just help you see exactly what's going on, when sometimes we just get mired in the day-to-day fires that feel like they're burning, and we're like, somebody can come in and be like, it's not a fire, not important.
Exactly. That's not aligned to your goals. That's okay.
Right. Exactly. Awesome. Well, like I said, thank you so much for being part of this today. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Numbers. If today's conversation resonated with you, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a new episode every week. And if you're a health or wellness business owner who's ever wondered what's really going on behind your own numbers, I'd love to talk. Head to fitforprofit.com to learn more or book a complimentary clarity call. We'll see you next week.